التقوى أحباب الكرام على 4 أقسام. القسط الأولى خوف من الجليل من الله تبارك وتعالى، العمل بالتنزيل بما أنزل الله على كتابه وعلى سنة نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. القسط الثالثة الرضا بالقليل، نرضى بالقليل بما أتانا الله تبارك وتعالى، سواء كان من مال، من بنون، من علم. مثال يمكن يعني أضرب مثال بسيط جدا يعني بكم أيها الطلاب. يمكن كلكم بتمشوا المدرسة إلى أن تصلوا لمراحل العليا، منكم من يصل إلى أعلى درجات العلم ومنكم من لم يصل، فهذا كله بيد الله. إذا نرضى بما آتانا الله. الرضا بالقليل مهم جدا، سواء كان من المال من أي شيء. والأخير هو الاستعداد ليوم الرحيل. الاستعداد ليوم الرحيل عشان نجي في هذا المؤتمر. يمكن كثير مننا عملنا استعداد لأكثر من أسبوع، وفي ناس يمكن أكثر من شهر، وفي ناس يمكن عملنا استعداد من قبل سنة، لكن في استعداد ليوم الرحيل. فنسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يرزقنا الاستعداد ليوم الرحيل. أخيرا أوصي نفسي وإياكم بتقوى الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
شكرا شيخنا الجليل بابكر على كلماتك اللينة. أما الآن فنبدأ برنامجنا. أسعد الله مساءكم بكل خير. يسرنا ويسعدنا أن نرحب بكم مجددا في اليوم الثاني من مؤتمرنا كدوسي. ويسعدنا استمرار حضوركم وتفاعلكم البناء الذي كان له بالغ الأثر في نجاح اليوم الأول. لقد شهدنا بالأمس نقاشات ثرية ومداخلات متميزة وعروضا أضافت الكثير إلى رصيدنا المعرفي والمهني. وها نحن اليوم نكمل المسيرة مع نخبة جديدة من المتحدثين والخبراء لمواصلة رحلتنا نحو أهداف المؤتمر، مثل الورش في مجالات الابتكار والتطوير، تبادل الخبرات. نأمل أن يكون هذا اليوم حافلاً بالمزيد من الفائدة وملياً بالتواصل البناء، وأن نخرج منه بأفكار جديدة وتوصيات فعالة تسهم في دفع عجلة التقدم في مجالات عملنا. شكراً لكم على التزامكم وحرصكم، ونتمنى لكم يوماً موفقاً ومثمراً. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Salam everyone. First I want to say thank you everyone for joining us on our second day of the conference. I also want to take this moment to thank each one of you for being here. Your presence, your energy, your commitment to our community has been truly meaningful. Today, we're not here just to listen to speakers. It's about building connections, sharing knowledge, inspiring one another, and taking another step towards creating a brighter future. I want to express a heartfelt thank you to our speakers, leaders, volunteers, and everyone who works behind the scenes. As we start today, remember that real change does not happen in a single day. It happens through constant effort, courage, and a willingness to serve others. Each one of us have the ability to make a difference. Once again, thank you for joining us on our second day of the conference. Enjoy the workshop, panel, special guests, and exciting entertainment planned for everyone. Let's make today a better than yesterday. Thank you.
Sugurti kudesito min tara kamia. Sugurti kudesito
First person is Ibrahim Arbab doing the skeletal muscle paralysis. Are you here? Okay. If you can come join us on the stage.
مرحبا السلام عليكم جميعا. Excuse me. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of our conference. We're very excited to have you guys here, and it's an honor. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our next speaker. Our next speaker's name is Dr. Phil Neopart. Has been dedicated advocate and trusted friend of Darfuri community for nearly 2 decades. His commitments began since 2007 when he started lobbying members of Congress to raise awareness about the crisis in Darfur. In 2009, he became a mentor to newly arrived Darfur refugees, offering guidance, encouragement, and unwavering support as they rebuild their lives in the United States. At the request of the Darfur community, Phil helped establish the nonprofit organizations that would become Dorothy organizations. طبعا كلكم بتعرفوا دروتي صح؟ هذا الشخص هو الشخص اللي ساهم أو أما ساعد بتكوين منظمة دروتي اللي هو منظمة خيرية، وهي مليمة أو كل الناس بتعلم بهذا المنظمة وجميع الخيرات اللي قاعدة تقدم للاجئين والنازحين في معسكرات لجوء. So he helped serve from 2010 to 2013 in laying its platforms or foundations as he helped create the 501c organizations. Since then, he continued to serve full as assistant to the board, providing steady leadership counsels and support. His years of services reflect a deep commitment to justice, compassion, and empowering the Darfuri community. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Phil Neopart. You're here, the stage is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out here from all over the country and that. I've been asked to speak about 2 different things. One is related to the nonprofit that they mentioned, the Dori Organization for Humanitarian Services, and the other is about 2 major American policy bills dealing with Sudan. One is not so good and one's better than that. I'm going to start with the Dori stuff first, and then Elias Hassan will follow up. Elias Hassan took over as treasurer, and believe it or not, on April 15th, 2023, we had the election then, and Elias got it, and he's been treasurer since then. And so he and Mohammed Abdul Karim were serving during the last 2 distributions, both in Chad, as it turns out, but they'll tell you more about that. All right. I came back to Louisville from New York State in 2007 later, after I'd lobbied it there about Darfur. And at the time, Darfur was the worst human rights thing going and according to Amnesty International, so I just learned how to lobby. So I came back here and I met the people I know now through Kentucky Refugee Ministries and Catholic Charities. They're two resettlement agencies that work in Louisville, and those of you who know here, they'll tell you all about it. So there was that, and what we did. And so they said, well, how do you raise money? I said, well, use form a 501c3. And Ramadan Haroon and Kamis Juma Yusuf and Abdulaziz Isaac and many others were major. Muhammad Abdullah, they were all. We basically took several years to apply for 501c3 status. I know that this organization has it, so they can tell you about how long it takes. We started that in 2011. Haroon Hassan and I got our EIN number in 2011. And then by 2013, we were 501c3 ready, and then we started collecting clothing and distributing it locally. Kamis Juma Yusuf was a huge part of that. And then we joined Global Giving in 2017. Now, Global Giving is huge, okay? Because there are many online platforms, right, to raise money. But there's an idiosyncrasy in United States law dealing with nonprofits, raising money from people who live in other states. And there's not an overall blanket thing where you just do one thing and it applies to all the states. The way it's set up is that states can opt out of making you have to register ahead of time before you raise money, but most of them don't. And unofficially, they'll ignore a few $1,000s, but after that, you got to register, usually with their Attorney General's office or their Revenue Department. And technically, if you don't, that could be a violation. Global Giving registers with all the states that ask for that ahead of time, okay? And also other foreign countries, and that's huge. And also, they were founded in 2002 by two World Food Program members, and they're the real thing. And if you do well, and we did pretty well, they will give you grants, and they also refer you to major companies that come to them saying, well, we want to donate to this cause. What do you got? And if they like you, they'll put your name out there. I'm talking like Pepsi-Cola, Nike, big ones, okay? It's a great way to step up. They give you guidance. When they take a cut, it's about 8%. It could be a lot worse. Elias Hassan and Muhammad Abdul Karim know a lot more about that because they deal with that officially. I'm just a paperwork guy for Doroti, okay? I've never been a member. I've never been a board member. It's them controlling it. I just assist them. Okay, so we got to Global Giving. We started raising money that way, and then we stopped buying clothes, and we started sending people money for clothes. That cut our expenses in half. If you cut shipping out anyway, you're going to save at least half your money. And that's what we did in 2018. Muhammad Abdul Rahman in the Fort Worth, Dallas area had a bunch of people come in, and he gave us a list. It was about 83 people, and we said we're going to send checks to them and a list of Goodwill stores nearby where they can go. We did that. We wouldn't be able to do that if we sent them packages, because going UPS, even if we're in Louisville, which is where the UPS is headquartered famously, they don't give you a discount for that. So that was huge. And then in 2019, it started to slow down, and then there was a massacre in January 2020, and around the outskirts of one of the Kerending camps, Kerending 1 and 2, outside of El Janina. This is January 2020. And then Kamis Juma Yusuf was president at the time. He was overseas at that time, and he helped set it up. And in June 2020, they did their first distribution there. And then Muhammad Abdul Rahman, he went over there, and he stayed there for a long time, and he trained our team that's still in operation. They had to flee the massacre of El Janina in 2023. And they're Adre now, as you might expect. But he trained them. So those directors went over there and did it themselves. And they're of the people, by the people. And so they had rapport that was there. And so there were, 6 more distributions in Darfur because of their work and the local people. And Global Giving saw that, okay? That these people work remotely, responding to the board, and that got attention because I don't think in Global Giving there was anybody that was 100% Darfuri doing this sort of stuff, not at the time. And again, I was never a board member. I was never in charge, okay? So please bear that in mind. They asked me to speak to you, okay? And they're going to tell you a lot more. And then, of course, the war broke out on April 15th, 2023. We had a new director's election, and then the new crowd came in, although Mohammed al-Karim had been on the board member for years before that. And they're going to tell you more about that. But we are now currently in a holding pattern. There's been I made a mistake with the IRS, with the 1042, which is what you file if you deal with international stuff, but it didn't apply to us because we were dealing with humanitarian aid. I'm an amateur, I am not a tax lawyer, I am not a bookkeeper, and I'm kind of reaching level of my expertise there. And we're working it out. We set aside some money. I gave them a lot of money to deal with this, and so we got a lawyer working on it. So once that's settled, we'll be all right. The law is on our side there. We're not stealing anything. We're not doing anything bad. Our lawyer tells us that, and we were looking hopeful there. But again, that was an oversight on my part. None of the board members were fault. That's me, okay? So when you think about that, think about me, not them. These guys are good, and the proof is what they've done. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking about that, and now I'm going to talk about these bills. Now, I know that this group has lobbied in Washington, D.C., and that's very, very good. But you can do it locally, too. Now, what I've given to Abdu is an updated guide on how to lobby your federal congresspeople. That means your senators and representatives. Everybody here gets 2 senators and 1 representative, okay? And they should have offices in your state, several of them usually. And so they should be relatively close unless you're out west, in which case you got vast distances, and that could be tricky. A remote visit might be better there. So anyway, you don't have to be a citizen to do this. You don't have to have a specific reason to do this. You can just go say, my people are suffering. I'm a witness. I know witnesses. It's true, okay? You can do that, all right? You do not have to be a citizen to do this because they make money off taxes, and I don't have to tell you, you all pay taxes. Whether you're on the way to be a citizen, whether you're a citizen, whether you're a green card holder, you pay taxes, and they know it, all right? So this guide I gave Abdu tells you how to find a website where how to find your senator, how to find your representative. You enter in your zip code, and it tells you specifically, all right? And then now these bills. So this guide is something that I wrote. It's pretty specific, and I'm not going to talk too much about that because this is something that's an email form. It can be forwarded to you. I'm going to assume that happens. Now, these bills. One is that the bills are HR, and there'll be a number, or for the House of Representatives, or S for Senate, okay? HR 1939. HR 1939 is the bill that is, and it's been around since it was introduced in March 6, 2025 by a Democrat representative, and now there are 32 co-sponsors. This bill is very good because while both bills require, a bill is better than an executive order because an executive order changes with the president, or if the president changes his mind a lot, and I don't have to tell you how that is now, that could be chaotic. But if it's law, it's codified. That means they have to keep following it no matter who's in office. So it's a step up from that. I'm not saying it's going to solve the problem, but if you want to put the heat on the United Arab Emirates, who is funding the RSF, this is one way. I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's one way to do that. And I'm not naive. I know the UAE has got money everywhere, including this country. They gave the Trump administration family a lot of money for their crypto recently. I mean, a shameful amount. I mean, it's corruption. I know it is. But knowing how to lobby is a tool that's crucial. A lot of American citizens don't use it. I didn't until I started helping these guys. This is a tool I'm giving you. It can be valuable. I'm not saying it will be, but it can be. All right? In my guide, it tells you how to look up legislation and how to read it in congress.gov. And if you can't find it, I tell you how to do it using a normal search engine, and you can go back to congress.gov. You want to go to congress.gov because that tells you, obviously, the name of the bill, where it is, exactly what's been done to it before, who's co-sponsoring it. A sponsor is someone who introduces it, co-sponsors the people who sign on to it, support it before the vote's taken on it, okay? It'll tell you the text, all amendments of the text. It'll do all those things, and it's from congress.gov itself. And that is a tool. If you know how to use that, that's valuable too. Again, most Americans don't do it, all right? But my fellow Americans and those who are on the way to becoming so, here's a tool. It's very valuable. It can teach you how things work here. All right, now, the House bill, H.R. 1939, is valuable because while both bills require the presidential administration and the Department of State to keep track of who is funding the combatants in Sudan and things like that, H.R. 1939 prohibits the sale of major American weapons to any government that funds the combatants in Sudan, not just the RSF and SAF, but militias too, okay? That's one thing. Another part of the bill specifically mandates that women and youths be involved in the establishment of a civilian democracy in Sudan. There's a section named after that. The Senate version doesn't have either of those things. Let's see what else. There's also, there's many things. Human Rights Watch has endorsed this bill. And a statement from July 21st of this year, they endorsed it. Let me see what else was there. There's two other things that this bill is really good about. I'm sorry. I'll stop talking now. My colleagues want to come up here and answer Dorothy questions if they want, but thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. As Dr. Phil mentioned, I am Ilyas Hassan, and my colleague, Mr. Shara, is down there. I am the treasurer. He's the president. So before I start, I will just have a small video of our last distribution in Adre. This is during last March. Yeah, this March. We had a distribution in Adre during Ramadan. So I'll just let the video play and then I'll talk about it a little bit.
طريقك نار وضع يمينك في يدي فكأن يوم رضاك ليلة مولدي طريقك نار وضع يمينك في يدي فكأن يوم رضاك ليلة مولدي أنا كم رأيتك والأمور عصيبة وبدا الفئات هداهما
So that is the small video of our latest distribution, and after that, like I said, we had, that's why when Phil mentioned global giving is very important. Global giving gave us, in the past they gave us $10,000 like Phil mentioned back in 2023 when we had the closed distribution. But this time around they were able to give us $5,000. That video right there you guys just saw is worth of $10,000 in US dollars that we helped in Adre for people in need during Ramadan. So in terms of numbers wise, we helped over 130 families. So 100 families and then 30 individuals that were able to help out during the video. And then a little bit about Dorothy. Phil already talked about a lot. I don't really have much to say. That is our latest like I said, distribution. Currently, we are still running a project in our website. We do use global giving to collect donations. As many times in the past we have mentioned, I can afterwards you can come talk to me, Chare, Phil about how to donate or how to learn more about Dorothy. We do need one thing that I would say is we do definitely need donations. We do need members as well. As of right now, we don't really have a lot of current active board members. It's just me, Mr. Chare, and we also have a sister. But that's pretty much it. We do need board members, and as you guys see throughout the years, a lot of people need help still. Sudan, Chad, everywhere. We do have a board member back in Chad, but obviously, without us sending anything, they can't really do anything about itself. So what we ask for you guys today is to please donate. Donation is what keeps the program going. Also, just share with the community. Share with friends, share with family. Sharing, as like Dr. Phil said, he's not a board member, but he's been working like more than most of our board members. So we do need people to help us keep Dorothy pushing forward. Unfortunately, I wasn't prepared to give you guys a slide about our past distributions. As you guys mentioned, back in 2023, we did a close distribution to over, I don't know the exact number, but it was over 100 over 100 families that were able to, when the war broke out, they had no clothes, no shoes. We were able to provide them. So as we do, like I said, we do have a current project. Our board members back home, they always ask us, can you guys do this, but we just don't have funds. So if you guys, please donate, share, speak about it. Speak out. Sharing, supporting is not just about financial. It's also talking about it to other people, sharing with people, sharing outside communities. Just let them know what's going on to our back home. And people, once they hear the stories, they are more than welcome to help the community. So I don't really have much to say. I don't know if that Mr. He said no, so he doesn't have anything. But if you guys have any questions, please come find us. Me, Chare, Dr. Phil, anyone. I can leave the website in here too. You guys can send us an email, WhatsApp, or anything. So that's pretty much it. That's the OT. Like I said, we just try to help with anything we need back home. Even here, like Phil mentioned, we used to do a lot of stuff here when people first come in. But now, since the last few years, it's been very tough back home, so we try to focus more back home as well. But we always open to helping our people. Here as well, when new people come, we try to help with the translations, help people apply for a job, something like that, like just open a bank account, like, anything they might need as a new people. So the whole thing is pretty much all in one, but we just need support, we need members, and we need someone to share. So thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. But that's the whole thing. Thank you.
صفقة للجماعة دي يا جماعة. Thank you again, Mr. Pil and Ilyas and Chaure and the whole board of directors for your hard work and dedications that you put and you still putting toward our community back and forth here and there to help and support our community. We kindly appreciate you. Thank you again. صفقة للجماعة again. Up next, we have Najwa Foundation. Najwa Foundation helping women, children in need. And Najwa Foundation is a non-profit organization that focuses on helping kids and women in need in the refugee camp in Chad, Darfur, and Dar Masali. She has helped all refugees camps in the region, including Gaga, Hajar Hadid, Tirejil, Brejil, and Farshana. Since 2017, she also works in Kenya and Ghana. This organization will be represented by its founders. Our sister Najwa Adam, welcome to the stage, but it's going to be presented by Siham. Siham, تفضل Siham. The stage is yours.
Okay, I knew I was presenting, but I was like, wait. Okay, it's a little bit too soon. I need a little bit of time. But no, thank you guys so much for being here. My name is Siham. I'm not Najwa, but I am her daughter, so I am the closest you guys are going to get to her. My mom really wanted to be here, but she just couldn't because she's currently in Chad for this distribution project, so she is currently doing all of the hard work. Alrighty, can we go to the... Oh! Okay. The square? Oh, okay. So before we get started on the presentation, please take out your phones right now, okay? I need y'all to scan and follow us. So please, I'll wait. I am watching everyone. Where's your phones? Take it out, please. You got Instagram, you got TikTok. If you're on Facebook, we're also on Facebook at Nejwa Foundation. Come on. All right, so yeah. Yeah, Shabab, I know y'all got phones. Take it out. We're gonna wait. Alrighty. Alrighty. So, Nejwa Foundation, it's an organization that was founded by my mother, Nejwa, in 2017. And my mother started this organization based on a dream, So she came in here into the U.S. as a single parent, and, she struggled raising kids on her own, and then also adjusting to the new life, and just figuring things out on her own, and then also being in constant communication back home with all the people that we left behind. She understood the struggles that our people needed, and she didn't want to sit on the sidelines and watch people struggle. She wanted to do something about it. She wanted to be the change that she wanted to see, and so she started Nejwa Foundation, and every single year since we started the organization, my mom goes to the refugee camps personally to handle all of the distribution projects. Currently, right now, one of the distribution projects that we're doing is, what is it called? Chair distributions for the disabled. So we oftentimes get personal requests from the different refugee camps who need particular things. And this year, some of the requests from multiple different refugee camps were chairs for the disabled because they don't have a way to move across the area. But yeah, so that is my mom. So let me see. So with Nejwa Foundation, we do a lot of different things. So here, back in the refugee camps, what we do is we do a lot of humanitarian work. So from food distribution, clothing distribution, we partner with local schools, providing them with the resources to continue schools running and making sure that the kids are educated. So it involves a lot of different things, also like medical support, as well as, just the chair distribution that I mentioned. So we do a lot of things to try to support as many of our people as possible. And one of the important things for us really is education, because I think for far too long, for us, we've always been dependent on aid, on support. Just imagine, our people have been in the refugee camps for over 20 years. 20 years in the same space, and always relying on organizations to provide them with support so they can live. And that is not the future that we want. We want to be able to support our people through the humanitarian work as much as possible, but then also providing them with tools to be able to become self-sufficient so they can dream and go out there and make something of their own. And so and then also our work is in two parts, so within the refugee camps, but then also in Michigan we provide ESL classes, citizenship as courses, career ready services, as well as just opportunities for refugees and families from immigrant backgrounds for a way to be able to resettle into the new environment and get adjusted. And so we work with families in different ways and meet their needs so that they can be able to adjust to the new environment and feel welcomed as well. So so we have three components. So our goal for number one is to be able to create stability through the different work that we're doing, being able to support them, and giving them what they need, but then also moving from stability, how can we strengthen the communities for them to be able to be self-sufficient? So a lot of in the refugee camps, when we are buying resources, we buy all of the stuff locally to be able to support into the economy as well, so that they can prosper as well. So being able to stabilizing communities and then finding ways to strengthen the communities as well through education and through different resources and programs, and then from there being able to sustain that as well, and really just really focusing on the community. So our work comes from, a lot of our work, comes from, and from Atia to, you guys, a lot of our work that we do comes from our lived experience. And so I think that's what makes our organizations really impactful, is that we support people based on what we went through and our understanding of what the people are going through. So we're not just trying to play heroes. We understand what it's like to be in their shoes. And so it's really important to be able to it's important to be able to understand what the people are going through, because you've lived that same experience. I'm so sorry. My mother would do much better than me, but next year, inshallah. So with our organization, a huge aspect of it is community, and finding how do we really strengthen community, how do we amplify voices, and really just being able to unify, because for far too long, we've only heard our stories through other people's narratives. We've never really been in control of our own narrative. And so for us, it's about how do we control our narrative? How do we tell our stories from our own experiences, and then also being able to validate those experiences? And so being able to really work on that community building, both here in the U.S. and also within the refugee camps. And so with that, we actually started our first initiative, which was the Sudanese Synergy Summit this past April, and that was aimed at bringing together the Sudanese diaspora as well as the community in general, like allies, to be able to really reflect on shared experiences, come together as a community to amplify our voices, and just be able to find meaningful ways to be able to collaborate with a lot of organizations. We're doing a lot of work, but collaboration is really key to be able to help us move forward. We're doing a lot of work, but without collaboration, sometimes it can be really difficult. And so, yeah, so this is the summit.
شفت الحبيب محتار يا ما الحكيم بدور العلاج شفت الحبيب محتار. My goal is to be able to create an intentional space where we are having meaningful dialogue and really bringing together the community intentionally, so that we can amplify our voices and really just get to share our stories, honor our heritage, and just be able to validate our experiences.
I came here 25 years ago as one of the lost world students. We, the diaspora, have an obligation to help back home and help back here.
This is actually the first event of its type that is bringing together the youth which will actually change the future of Sudan and the youth in America.
So the strengths of summits like this aren't just 2 days that we spend together, it's the relationships that you build that last lifetimes. Make sure you're sitting with those folks, asking what can we do together that is greater than the sum of our parts.
Recently, a pastor in my district reminded me that our country, especially the United States, we're just not divided, we're disconnected. And I just feel like as a Palestinian, I fully understand that our fight for decolonization, our fight against oppression, our fight against apartheid is connected.
What I want people to see is that the humanity ain't dead. Love, compassion, empathy ain't dead. They highlight all the evil people, the axis of evil. Y'all know who these trifecta of people are. But there's love in the people, and genuine people in the Huma who want people to succeed and want people to have the liberties that God gave them.
In such tough times, it really is important that us as Sudanese people, we remember our heritage
our foundation of what it is to be Sudanese and carry that on from one generation to another.
No Sudanese is more than just the war. We're not just the war. Because after the war, what will we be to you? We are Sudanese. We have deep culture, such a great community, and we love everybody being a part of it. So get to know us instead of just the conflict.
So if you're wondering, the next Sudanese Summit will be in April. It will be in Detroit in collaboration with the Arab American National Museum. So we hope to see you guys. Kentucky is not that far, so please make the drive there, okay? With community, also storytelling is really important. Being able to control our narrative. And so because of that, we actually were able to, for the first time, we were able to take part in a film. It's a Sudanese American film. It's called Fishunu. So we were Fishunu's fiscal sponsor. I can't wait for you guys to see this short film, and hopefully it'll turn into a show. So, but yeah, just being able to really finding ways to not only support the people who need it, but then also finding ways to take charge, take agency of who we are, take agency of our stories, and just being able to go out and showcase the people who we are, what makes us, because we are very resilient, we are incredible, and I think it's about time the world recognizes that as well. But yeah, so this film, currently right now, is in a lot of different submissions, so when it comes, you guys will be able to see it. This was just a short, I can just skip through this one. Well, I could just look at it a second.
Hi, hello, what's happening? Assalamu alaikum. My name is Tariq Abdul Khalik, and I'm making a film about a young Sudanese man who tries to fight his uncle at a Ramadan dinner. Yes, it's absurd. Yes, it's a comedy, but it's honest. Now you might be thinking, how dare I make a short comedic film right now with what's currently going on in Sudan? Shouldn't I be fundraising for something a bit more serious? And you're right, there are way more pressing matters right now that deserve urgent attention. But let's not forget something important. Art is a form of resistance. For far too long, Sudanese stories have been told almost exclusively through a Western lens of war and genocide. Most people don't know anything about us, and half the time don't even believe that we're from Sudan. How many times have you heard, but you don't look Sudanese, or you're from Sudan? Where's that? That's a country? And this one right here sucks. How come y'all speak Arabic? I thought Africans spoke African. Yeah, I've gotten that a few times. It's wild. I genuinely believe that proximity leads to empathy, and empathy leads to accountability. When people see how we laugh, how we love, how we argue, or how we laugh at the most inappropriate times, they'll not only get to see a side of Sudanese culture, but they'll get to see themselves in us. And then they'll start to see us as people too. As a Sudanese person, I've seen how mental health struggles can be sometimes minimized or completely misunderstood in our community. Now that's not out of cruelty. Okay, maybe it's a little bit. But it's actually out of survival. For those of us who left Sudan, our parents mostly focused on keeping food on the table and a roof over our head. Rarely did we have the space or the time. Maybe. Anyways, this is an immigrant story, so you know his family makes things way worse. Everybody in his family knows exactly how to get under his skin. His younger brother, his South Sudanese cousin, his mom, his uncle. Oh man, his uncle. So he comes up with this brilliant idea to fight his uncle at a Ramadan dinner. He thinks this will fix everything. Genius, right? Man, this guy is crazy. The pressure builds slowly and slowly and slowly until it finally comes out. And when it comes out, it's not pretty. Even though the subject matter of this film is heavy, this isn't a sad story. It's more of a drama. Because in most African and immigrant homes, humor is how we survive. We joke, we deflect, we roast each other, and we laugh it all out to avoid the pain. The comedy isn't in there to make light of the trauma. It's there to tell the truth. This story shows Sudanese people in a different light. Not through war, not through genocide, but through everyday life. In our humor, our tension, our love, our conflict, and our humanity. We deserve to be seen in our full complexity. We're looking to raise $18,000 to produce this film with a professional cast and crew. This funding will not only allow us to shoot safely.
But yeah, so be ready? Okay. So I will be making my acting debut with that film, so you guys will see me on screen as well. Okay? But yeah, so that and then what is it called? So and one of our other initiatives that we're currently working is creating a scholarship program for Sudanese. So as you know, there's so many millions of students have been displaced from their homes from Sudan, and a lot of them were just in the refugee camps, outside of Sudan, and education has been discontinued. Now, the only thing with a lot of, especially when it comes to Sudanese displaced students, it's difficult for them. They're really, really smart and very capable. However, it's difficult to be able to get the resources needed to be able to go on to continue their education. And so we created this scholarship program to be able to support students from displaced areas to be able to, so if they get accepted into university, being able to help support them through the financial costs. Because financial cost is the biggest burden that they face in terms of going to the university. And so we help them with their financial needs to be able to send them to school. Currently right now, our student is Mazin. Mazin is a displaced student currently living in Libya. So he's living in Libya. He got accepted to University of Barcelona, and he's expected to start school in September 26th. However, it's just been so difficult to be able to get the there's so many different barriers to just get accepted, with the visa to be able to make it to Spain to start school. And so we are trying to help him and do what we can to be able to raise enough money for just for his visa to get accepted. So his total cost is around 18,000 pounds, about 20,000 US dollars. We need to be able to raise at least half of that just for his visa to get accepted, for him to be able to go into Spain. And so I hope that we are, able to, we can bring the community together, raise some funds so that we can send Mazin to school. The application process takes about a month for him to get accepted, so we really don't have a lot of time. But I hope that we can send Mazin to school. So I am currently working with a business. So they said if we are able to raise $4,000, they can match the donation. So I need you guys to really help me out so we can raise $4,000 so that the company can match the donation, and hopefully that will be enough for us to get his visa accepted so he can go to the University of Barcelona. And he's going to be getting his master's in geology. But yeah, and I'm going to actually let you guys.
Hello, my name is Mashad. I'm a student from Al Ubaid, North Kordofan State. And I'm currently displaced living in Tripoli, Libya because of the ongoing conflict in Sudan. Although I managed to reach Libya for safety, life as a displaced person remains extremely difficult and uncertain. Like many Sudanese displaced by the war, I continue to face significant financial and personal challenges while trying to rebuild my future. And one of the hardest battles to leave behind my father, my mother, that education can change lives. I sincerely appreciate your generosity and support. Thank you for believing in mine. Thank you.
So yeah, Marvin is currently the only one. He's the only one in his family who was able to flee Sudan. So he's currently in Libya. I mean, all of his family are currently in Sudan. But yeah, so please share the campaign, give what you're able to, and inshallah we can send Mazen to University of Barcelona, inshallah. All right. So yeah, I've been here talking a lot, but let me kind of formally introduce myself. So, my name is Siham Hassan. I am, what is it called? So people don't really know me, but when I told them I'm Najwa's daughter, they're like, oh, into Najwa's daughter? Oh, okay. I see the resemblance. But I want to say, when my mom first started this organization, I was, I think, maybe like a freshman in high school. I didn't really understand, the significance of what she was building. But my mom is, she is so resilient, and she is just such an amazing person. And through her, I learned not only the importance of community and the importance of giving back, but also just the importance of being able to dream, because of her, I am dreaming boldly. So currently, I will say, so I graduated from Michigan State University in May with my first master's. I'm currently working towards my second. But with that master's, I currently hold 4 degrees. So I hold 3 bachelor's with 1 master's, going on to get my 5th degree. So you see, and I founded a whole sorority. I was a part of what is it called? I'm not sure if you guys watch Squid Game, but there's the Squid Game, and then there's the Squid Game The Challenge. So I was actually a part of that film. So because my mom, because of her, I know that nothing is impossible. If you have a dream, and if you have a will, there's always a way to make it happen. And so I challenge every single one of you guys to dream boldly and do not hold yourself back. Because we oftentimes, tell ourselves, well, we're not capable of doing that, or, who are we to have those dreams? Those dreams are not meant for us. They're meant for someone else. But no, if you have a dream in your heart, that dream was placed, within you for a reason. So do not limit yourself. Just standing here, I see, the amazing, so many talented individuals who are doing so many different things. We've got featured politicians, we've got doctors, we've got amazing people here. And our girl yesterday was a salutatorian, I was like, mashallah, because I'm telling you guys, as a valedictorian, of my high school, being a salutatorian is not easy. There's so many sleepless nights. You have to, stay up trying to those homeworks. We were, like overachievers. We had to be the president of every club because we wanted to create the perfect resume for our college. So it takes a lot to be able to be in that position. But, if we can do it, you all can do it, and yeah, what is it called? When we did the meet and greet, for dreaming is not just for the kids, the kids. It is also for the adults, I was so touched by the mothers who were able to continue their education, even after they were married, even after they had the kids, they are trying to build something for themselves. And so, please, the only way for us to be able to, take our community up is by being, dreaming boldly, being unapologetic. People will try to tell you, with us, we come from a country, sadly, we come from a country, that told us that we were not good enough. We literally, skipped genocide because we were told, our language, our being, our existence, was not good enough. They wanted to cleanse us of our, very existence. But we are here. Look at us, how resilient we are. We've got, our own language. We've got books. We got keywords coming. We are really taking our community, our diaspora forward. So please just continue doing what you're doing. Continue to continue to take pride in who you are, and do not lose that. as we are growing here within the U.S. And just when you're in Western society, they tell you that you have to change, you have to conform to be able to be accepted. But you do not need to be accepted. Being different was never a bad thing. Being different is what makes you unique. So continue to be different, continue to be unapologetic, and just continue to be prideful, of who you are. Yeah, so that is a little bit about me, and that is about a little bit about Nedra Foundation. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We're on nedrafoundation.org. So always email us and get in contact with us. And please, again, if you guys can help us send Mazen to University of Barcelona, that would be amazing. So please share that campaign so we can take him to school. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Siham. I think the most shocking thing, I didn't know you were Najwa's daughter, but I see where the energy comes from. A few minutes ago, I was thinking, how are you going to steal her from Najwa Foundation? But I don't think that's even possible. You're made to be there. And one thing I'm really excited for is first I want to say thank you for the wonderful presentation, and everyone donate to Najwa Foundation for them to reach their goals. And also, I can't wait to see the film. I couldn't agree more. We as Sudanese need to share our stories, not the stories of war or genocide, but also our stories of resilience, our culture, our history, our tradition, and the strength of our people. There are more to Sudan than the conflict. Our voices deserve to be heard. Our achievements deserve to be celebrated. Our stories deserve to be told by us. Up next is Arbab. He currently lives in Michigan. He recently graduated from Michigan State University with a bachelor's degree in human biology. He plans to attend medical school and become a general surgeon. His presentation is about skeletal muscle paralysis. Welcome to the stage, Arbab. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you guys hear me well. Before we go into the presentation, and I don't have a lot to present. It's like 5 pages. Let me introduce myself a little bit. Okay. My name is Arbab, and I live in the state of Michigan. I've been there for more than 10 years, since I came to the United States, 2015. The time I came to the United States, I did not went to high school. I went to GED, it's called General Education. And then I went to Lansing Community College. I took a lot of ESF courses. And then I transferred to Michigan State University. Just recently graduated with a bachelor's degree in human biology. And I'm really interested to go to medical school because that's the only reason I came to the United States for. I need to go to medical school and hopefully become a general surgeon. So as you can see on the board, as you can see on the board, why general surgeon? So before we go into the question, so let's see some of the images of the human, some of the pathological images of the human disease. So let's go to the next page, please. this is the human, the human body. So we see on the board, it's a normal thyroid gland. So this is the gland that's located in the neck of every human being. So this is the gland that produce called hormones. We call T3, T4. So those hormones, what they do is they control body metabolism. So they control how your body works, the body temperature, what type of food you eat. So they control this kind of hormones. So this is the normal. We say you can see it's a normal thyroid gland. So let's see what happens when these things go wrong. So you can see, and I know this is really bad images, but you guys can able to see. So on the left side, we have a woman with thyroid diseases, and on the right side also you guys can able to see that a man with a thyroid disease. So the middle image is after the surgery. So this condition can be treated with the medication, but when the thyroid gland becomes severe, the only thing is we have to remove it. Do the surgery, remove it, and then the person can able to survive with the medication. What happens is that when this immune system mistakenly go and attack your own body, right? So instead of attacking and fighting infections, it goes attack your own body. So that could be one of the reasons. And then second reason is called iodine deficiency. So when a person does not eat enough food that has iodine, or if you excessively eat too much food that has iodine, so this could be one of the reasons lead to thyroid disease. So this is first image or first disease, so we can able to remove through general surgery. Let's see the second image. Now, so on this image, you see the child, the fluid in his stomach. So we will able to see what type of fluid. So this is the condition for cirrhosis. So what does this mean is that is the fluid that's inside the peritoneal cavity. So there's a space in your stomach cavity. So that fluid is filled with that fluid. So on the left image, you guys can see normal human liver. On the right side, you guys can see the damaged liver. So what happens is that liver is completely damaged, and there's many reasons this happens, right? So including, as we mentioned, autoimmune disease can lead to this disease, cirrhosis as well. So there's many ways we can able to treat this. So including, so when the liver is completely damaged, we have no choice but we have to remove the liver. So we have to remove the liver, and then there's a system for liver transplant. So we have to remove the liver and then place the new liver from the donor. So that's the only person. That's when the liver it becomes completely severe. And before, if the liver is not completely severe, so we can treat it with the medication. So we can give diuretics, beta blockers. So these are the type of medication they can be prescribed by the healthcare provider. So another way we can treat this is we have to drain that fluid completely. So let's say if the liver is not damaged, so in this type of condition we have to drain the fluid, and then we can manage the patient with the medication. But in case of the liver is damaged, so we have to remove it. Like I said, we have no choice. So these are the two types of images that made me become a general surgeon. However, let's see what is the next images. Yeah, this image, some people might not gonna see it, but I hope everyone will understand. If you say close, you can able to see the image. So this is the hospital, and we need this hospital in the state of Jinena, especially in Darmota area. So this, one of my friends just designed this image. So if you can able to read the Arabic, I know the picture is kind of small, but you can able to see. So there's a different department. So we have Department of Qism al-Wilada wal-Atfal, and then on the left side you say Mustashfa al-Jinan lil-Nisa wal-Atfal. And on the middle it say al-Jinana ri'ayat sahatika wa mustaqbal atfalaka. So and here I have some bullet points, so I'm just gonna go through so we cannot waste more people's time. So I said the health care is a human's right. So what does that mean? So we need free health care. What does that mean? So let's say we bring this hospital in the state of Jinena, and it could be you, it could be your family member or anybody have a severe disease or severe infection that require immediately or required by emergency medicine position that need to be stabilized. And you brought the patient into the emergency and they don't have, let's say, money to get the treatment. So in this kind of case, so that person must get free health care. Why? Because we don't want that person to suffer more severe diseases. And then the second, so the value of the human being. So we value every single human being. It could be a woman, it could be male, it could be a mother, it could be a child, it could be elder person. So every value of that person is matter to us. We don't care who you are. So that's the value. And then I said the level of the impact on the growing children. So we want our children to grow healthy, to go to school, become engineers, scientists, teachers, professors, doctors. So we need the level of the impact. So we need children to grow healthy. We don't want the person they're gonna brought to the hospital and then they're gonna send them back without medication. So we really don't need that. And then I said women's health matter more. So imagine a mother giving a birth and there's no hospital. And this is always exists, especially in back home. So we don't have really healthcare system. We don't have a hospital. We don't have a good doctors. So building this hospital, we need whoever the women need treatment or have a severe or anything, we want that woman to come to the hospital, get the treatment, give a birth, and get right education. And so let's go back to the question, why general surgeon? So the reason I want to become a general surgeon is, so we have something called broken healthcare system in Sudan, let's say in general in Sudan. And when the person came to the hospital, and that person required immediately surgery. Let's say surgery required liver removal or thyroid gland, and we don't have general surgeon, and we don't have no healthcare provider can able to do that. And from what I understand is we need those kind of doctors. Initially, I was interested to become orthopedic surgeon, but that's kind of very rare. So we need more general surgeon. So I need to become a general surgeon. I know it takes long. It takes probably 15 years after medical school, maybe 4 years bachelor degree, 4 years medical school, 5 years training in a general surgeon, like what, 13 years? But I want to become a general surgeon. That's what it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, مستر أرباب إبراهيم. بالحقيقة هي فخري لشخص من جنينة، من دار اندوكا، من السودان، من دارفور، إنه نكون عندنا شخص عنده موهبة بهذا الشكل وعنده طموح لحتى يكون جنرال ساجن في المستقبل، لأنه نحن بحاجة لهذا المجالات. وبالحقيقة الناس اللي بتعاني في المعسكرات والناس اللي بتعاني من النزوح وكل الحروبات اللي قاعدة تحصل في السودان بحاجة للصحة، وبالحقيقة بحاجة لتوفير بتاع كل الأشياء اللازمة صحيا بشكل مجانا، من خير ما يكون في تمييز لبعض من الناس، ولبعض من الناس الحاجات دي بتكون متوفرة بشكل سهل جدا. فبالحقيقة هي فخري، وأنا أتمنى منكم كلكم تدوا صفقة هارة لهذا الأستاذ. Okay, I'm going to take this opportunity to welcome our next guest. And our next guest is going to be, it's actually going to be a session of panel discussion on sustainable livelihood for refugees in Chad and elsewhere. This important conversation will be exploring challenges, opportunities, and practical solutions for supporting refugees and communities. Please join me in welcoming our moderator, Abdurazik Muhammad, and our distinguished panelists on the stage. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. مساء الخير عليكم. كلنجا. كلاي. إلان نندقى ميادي. First and foremost, it's an honor to return to the stage once again in behalf of our non-profit organizations who have worked so hard, and you've all seen, all of them are here today. And I am going to be moderating a panel based on these organizations that are going to be talking about. And this panel is about sustainability, right? The sustainable livelihood for refugees. You all know that, and I'll also give you an overview in Arabic because we all know that in recent years, at least for maybe the last 5 years, and so aid have been declining for refugees. For one reason, has a lot to do with the increasing of the crisis around the world. On other aspects, policy changes and all those that are happening in the countries that initially provide most of the aids to serve these refugees. We know actually most of the AIDS organizations are pulling out, especially in areas like Asia, Africa, etc. And the biggest one recently that cut so much aid is the USAID, that has contributed so much over the years, helping refugees in vulnerable communities. So this panel is mainly about how can we help refugees in Sudan, Chad, and elsewhere have more sustainable livelihood, right? Really accessing the resources that they have and developing into something that is tangible in everyday life that they need. Whether that is establishing water fountains that will help them maintain and have agriculture throughout the years, or establishing, maybe small market businesses and training them in workshops, etc. Whatever that may be, this panel is going to explore that. And we want to hear from our panelists who are, both some of the organizations are here, but also others are going to be from Chad, from Kenya, and so forth. So we'll be having them on Zoom. I hope that they are ready online. So نقول لكم on overview بالعربي كده بالاختصار. طبعا هنا دار نتحدث عن بانل او لقاء نقاش بسيط عن وضع الحالي في اللجوء وكيف منظمات اللي بدوا خدمات في اللجوء ديل يقدروا يساعدوا او يتناقشوا ويدخلوا فكره عشان منظم اللاجئين ديل يقدروا يكونوا مستقلين في حياتهم، لانه الوضع الحالي يتغير شديد بالنسبه للاغاثات اللي بيجي للاجئين في الأماكن المختلفة من المنظمات الكبرى سواء كان USAID لما تعرفوا أو World Food Program, all those organizations انتوا يعني تعرفوهم. So كيف نقدروا نشوف إنه المنظمات دي يحاولوا أو اللاجئين دي يحاولوا يكونوا مستقلين سواء كان يعني يوفروا المياه عشان يقدروا يحصدوا أو يعني يزرعوا كل السنة أو يبنوا مثلا أسواق أو شركات أو تجارات عبر ورشات مختلفة يقدروا شنو يكونوا مستغلين. So I would like to call on the panelists to come on. All the speakers please that are on the stage. We have منظمة دار 8, please join us on the stage. Najwa Foundation and Atiye Charity. Please come forward. And online with us, we have two, I believe initially three, non-profit organizations. The first one is Munazzamat Dirjal. If you have heard of it, is in action in Chad. Has been very instrumental in terms of helping the refugees. And then we also have Blossoms of Hope, based in Kakuma refugee camp in Kenya. Are all of them ready and here available with us? And then the final, last but not least, is Idena del Balad. Are they all set? Can we confirm that on the stage and we can hear them? All right, now, before we proceed with anything, I would like to let the panelists introduce, but first I would like to allow their 8 representative, Sadia, who has been above and beyond and the backbone of organizing this panel. It's been in collaboration with this organization, but Sadia has done the book of the work. She can also give us a bit overview, and then we can allow the rest of the organization to also introduce representatives to introduce themselves. Then we proceed with the discussion.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Dar Aid and our partners, I want to sincerely welcome you all. Thank you for taking the time to join us for this important conversation on from aid to resilience, building sustainable refugee communities. Before we begin, I'd like to share the story of how Dar Aid came to be. Dar Aid didn't begin as a large organization with a strategic plan or significant funding. It began with a simple question: what can we do to help our people back home? Like many of us in the Sudanese diaspora, we watched from afar as our families, friends, and communities endured unimaginable hardship. We felt a responsibility to act, even if our efforts seemed small. We believed that if we could provide food, medicine, supplies, or emergency relief, we could make a difference. So we started. Our mission became another. We organized emergency food distribution for families facing hunger. We responded to the cholera outbreaks by providing hygiene supplies and supporting community health efforts. We launched nutrition initiatives for our mothers and children. We responded to devastating fires that destroyed homes and left families with nothing. Each mission reminded us why humanitarian aid is essential. It saves lives. It offers us hope during moments of crisis. But with every mission, we began to notice something deeper. The need never seemed to end. Every time we returned, there will be more families in need, more children out of school, more health challenges, and more emergencies demanding immediate attention. We realized we weren't just responding to isolated crises. We began witnessing the reality of communities that have lived in displacement for years. In many cases, for generations. The realization changed how we viewed our work. We began asking ourselves difficult questions. Are we only helping our people to survive for today, or are we helping them to build a better tomorrow? How do we move beyond delivering aid and begin creating opportunities? How do we support communities in becoming self-resilient while still responding to urgent humanitarian needs? The question led us to think differently and sustainability. Recently, Dar Aid had the opportunity to participate in a couple business pitch competitions. While we entered hoping to strengthen our organization, we left with something even more valuable, a new perspective. We learned that lasting impact requires more than compassion. It requires investing in systems, local leaderships, as well as entrepreneurships and solutions that continue long after the organizations have left. The experience challenged us to think differently about every project that we design. Instead of asking, what can we provide? We now ask, what can our communities build for themselves if we invest in their knowledge, skills, as well as their leadership? Because sustainability isn't simply about reducing costs or making projects last longer, it's about restoring dignity. It's about recognizing that refugee communities are filled with teachers, doctors, entrepreneurs, farmers, craftspeople, engineers, leaders whose talents are often untapped. For the Masalit community, the conversation is especially personal. Our people have lived as refugees for decades. Many children have been born in these camps and have never known another home. Entire generations have grown depending on humanitarian assistance, not because they lack ability, but because they have lacked the opportunity. Emergency aid will always be necessary when families are hungry, when they need food, when diseases spread, they need medical care. When disaster strikes, they need immediate support. But if our response ends there, we risk creating a cycle where communities are expected to survive on aid rather than empowered to shape their own future. We cannot continue looking at displacement as only a humanitarian crisis. We must also see it as a development challenge. The question before us is no longer just how we respond to emergencies. The question is how we build communities that are resilient enough to withstand them. How do we create livelihoods instead of dependency? How do we invest in refugee-led healthcare, education, businesses, as well as innovation? How do we ensure the assistance we provide today become the foundation of opportunity tomorrow? This is why we are here. Today's panel is not about criticizing humanitarian aid. It is about imagining what comes next. It's about learning from organizations that are already building sustainable, community-led solutions, exploring how we can work together to create a future where refugees are recognized not only for what they have lost, but everything they have to offer. At Dar Aid, we believe refugees are not simply recipients of aid. They are innovators, entrepreneurs, educators, healthcare providers, and leaders. When we invest in their ideas, skills, leadership, and when we move beyond relief and towards resilience, I hope today's discussion challenges us, inspires us, and reminds us that sustainable solutions are often the ones created by the communities themselves. Thank you all for being here today. And so let's begin and have a good discussion. Please ask questions and have like an actual conversation so that we could see where we can go from just giving them aid and to support them so that they can build things for themselves and, make our community strong as well. Thank you so much. Let's begin.
Okay. So Anas Siham Hassan, and I am a part of Najwa Foundation, of course. But yeah, so Najwa Foundation was established in 2017, and we have a lot of different projects going on. Since I'm gonna skip the boring introduction, since I just did my presentation, since you guys already know me. Yeah, and we can just, I think, just skip straight to the discussion, inshallah.
Okay, and online we also have Dirjal. May you please introduce yourself, Dirjal representative? Blossoms of Hope representative, may you please introduce yourself?
Is that me?
We're having some technical difficulties. Please bear with us.
Okay, I have a video. I shared with you. Can you present that video, and then if you have any question, I can share with you. My name is. Yeah, I hear you. I said I shared video with you. Can you present that video? I shared video with Mr. President Abdurazik. Can you share that video in the screen?
Yes, we can actually play the video. Can we maybe play the video after the discussion? Is that possible? Or is the video part of the discussion?
Sorry? Oh, okay. I shared for Mr. President Abdurazik.
Yes, we have the video. We're wondering, would you introduce yourself, and then can we play the video after the discussion? Is that possible? I don't think he can share his screen, he said. If you can pull the video, let's just see that way.
Okay, just I can speak.
Yeah, just a second. They're pulling it.
Hello?
Hello, yes, please, just a second. We're pulling the video. In the meantime, can we get introduction from Blossoms of Hope and Dirjel, please? Blossoms of Hope representative, introduce yourself. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Abdul Mohammed. I'm one of the Eden Al-Balad representatives in the United States. And thank you so much for attending this conference. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Kudusi organization for your kind invitations to your conference. It is truly an honor to be invited. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond my control, I was not be able to attend this conference. I sincerely apologize for my absence, and I hope you will accept my apology. Although I couldn't be able to attend with you today, I still want to take this opportunity to share a few words about our organizations and the work that we are doing in our community. I believe our mission is closely connected to the value of humanity, education, and community development that we all share. Eden Al-Balad organization is community-based educational organization serving Sudanese refugee children in Eastern Chad, especially in Adra. Our organization was established because thousands of children lost access to education after conflicts forced their families to, flee from Sudan to, Eastern Chad in 2023. We believe that every child deserves an opportunity to learn, grow, and build a better future. At the beginning, our mission was to help children to continue their education by teaching Sudanese curriculums in Arabic. However, as we continued our work, we realized something very important. Education is not only about attending schools or passing exams. Education should prepare children for life. It should prepare them for higher education, leadership, employment, and opportunities around the world. These visions come from my own personal experience. I lived in refugee camps in Eastern Chad for more than 20 years. After graduating from high school, I tried to attend universities in one of these countries, such as Uganda, Kenya, Cameroon, and Malaysia. I discovered myself that I did not have an English or French language skills required to study university. That experience changed the way I think about education in Africa in some communities. I realized that thousands of refugee students face exactly the same challenges every year. They are intelligent, hardworking, and motivated, but language becomes the biggest barrier for their future. Today, many universities in Africa and around the world require students to have good level of English, often at least B2 level. Many international scholarship programs also require exams such as IELTS or TOEFL.
We transition to Blossoms of Hope representative. Please introduce yourself. Blossoms of Hope representatives, introduce yourselves, please. Do we have Ustaza Manahil and Kaltuma on board with us? Can you confirm at least? Okay, so as we wait for the Blossoms of Hope representatives, we are going to start with the panel with our first questions. And you've seen that our panels have introduced themselves. And the first question that I would like to begin is, what does sustainability in refugee communities mean to you or to your organization? Anyone? What does sustainability mean to you?
Can you hear me, guys? Well, at Tia Charity Association, sustainability means that helping people move from surviving to thriving. Emergency aid saves lives, but lasting change happens when refugees have education, healthcare, opportunities to earn an income, and the ability to lead solutions. Our goal is to help communities become stronger and independent over time, inshallah.
Can you guys hear me? Okay. To add on to what my sister Ikram said, sustainability means, again, moving beyond the emergency aid and investing in refugee-led, solutions. Instead of having our people depend on organizations like the UN or other outside organizations, ourselves even, we want them to do things on their own, because for us, if we are depending on something for so long, you become, numb to all the things that are happening around you, and you just expect others to just help you all the time. So for us, at Dar Aid, sustainability means that for them to work on themselves and become independent, so that moving forward, they do not need outside help.
Okay, yeah, so to add on to what my colleagues just said, sustainability for us really is about moving away from survival to actually living. I think a lot of the people within the refugee camps, all they know is how to survive. They don't know how to live, because what is life if you are living in the refugee camps? You don't really have a future to look forward to, and you don't really have a country to go back to. So you are just stuck in the middle without a way out and without a way anywhere. And so it's difficult to be able to do anything. And then also, not being able to, when you are in, a lot of the people within the refugee camps don't know how to dream, because nobody around them is dreaming. Because when you're worried about survival, you're not worried about, what I want to be in the future, what I want to, accomplish. You're just focused in the moment. And so we want to be able to provide sustainability that enables them to know what living is like beyond survival.
Thank you so much for the wonderful responses we have on Zoom. Any responses from the rest of the representatives? What does sustainability mean to you, especially from your experience? We would love to hear from Dirjel and Chad and Blossoms of Hope and others. We can also proceed to the next questions, but السؤال هو إنه يعني ما هي معنى الاستدامة للاجئين للبانيلست علام طبعا، يعني كيف اللاجئين اللي يكونوا مستقلين ومستدعمين في حياتهم، لأنه أنتم عارفين كلكم إنه اللاجئين في تشاد تقريبا أكثر من 20-30 سنة، يعني جيل كامل ناس عايشين في اللجوء، ومعاناة دي لسه يعني مستمرة في نفس المعيشة. السؤال طبعا سيبيدي كلهم جاوبوا انه الاجابه بتاعهم المرتبطه هي انه كيف اللاجئين اللي يكونوا ينتقلوا من مرحله الى معيشه الى يعني استقلال، وكيف يكونوا شنو يدعموا نفوسهم ويكونوا يعني يحلموا، يكون عندهم احلام، ما بس يعني دائما انا قاعد في معيشه، يعني كيف نقدر نعيش، كيف نقدر نلقى وجبه بكره، بل انما يفكروا ذاته ان المستقبل ويكون حياه في نفس الظرف او حسب الظرف اللي هم موجودين فرضا. Okay, the next question is, these are actually connected questions. How can organizations empower refugees instead of creating dependency? And follow-up is to that question is, what role should refugees play in designing humanitarian programs?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
The question is, how can organizations like yours empower refugees instead of creating dependency? And what role should refugees play in designing any sort of humanitarian programs that organizations like yours and others, even major ones that bring into refugee camps?
From Dar Aid side, I would just like to track back to one of our recent missions. It was on the cholera outbreak. So instead of just giving them aid, we let them we gave them ideas on how to just do this on their own. So we have a few doctors. I think one of them is here with us today, Muhammad Zakaria, as well as, who's the other one? I'm sorry. Muhammad Khadir. They're doctors in the refugee camps. They were displaced from El Jinana. So what they did was, when we provided the soap as well as the chlorine, as well as the oral rehydration salts, they give them workshops. They educated them on what the cholera disease was, how it spread and everything. And they had healthcare champions go out in the community and educate the communities on their own. So that kind of gave them the initiative to just do things on their own instead of us giving them the aid as well as educating them. They went ahead and they took the initiative and they did the work that they needed. So the next time that the cholera outbreaks, it's around this time of the year. When that happens, they're again able to take the initiative, go out there and do the same thing again, because we provided that opportunity as well as the education for them to do this on their own.
So at the Charity Association, refugees plays a pretty important role, not just like being a part of the aid distributions that we normally distribute from time to time. We do see them as the leaders, we do see them healthcare providers, we see them doctors, we see them as the core factor of the solutions that we are trying to create. So tying back to what Dara Aid mentioned about the initiatives that they recently did, along the lines of one of our biggest projects that we are currently working is the prosthetic limbs project for 13 war survivors who are currently living in Freshena refugee camp. So basically, instead of just having our team go to the field, go to these individuals' houses and then get measurements of these limbs of these individuals, instead we're involving the community leaders such as Race al-Maskar, Safarfe, some of the local doctors that are within Freshena, so that they're also being involved directly into supporting these individuals or getting them the help that they needed. So with that, tying back to just what my sister said, it's very important that we're having these community leaders, having refugee be part of the solution. A lot of the times people see them as just the people who are always in need. And we are trying to change that narrative that these are community leaders, they're part of the solution. So if we're not involving them directly into finding the solutions that we wanted to see our community be thriving, then we are still lacking. We're not using the factors that's needed to be used in order to find the correct solution. So with that, I will conclude that it's very important we have them be part of every step of the solutions that we're taking, so that we are moving toward finding solutions that are beneficial for our community.
So for me, when it comes to moving away from dependency, I think it's important to be intentional with the work that you're doing, and that is exactly why organizations like ours is important, because we are organizations who are doing work based on lived experience. We know what it was like to live within the refugee camps. We know the struggles that they're going through. We know what they need, and so we can be intentional with the support that we are giving them, and then also just be able to do the work based on, from our experience. So, figuring out, okay, so asking ourselves, when we were within the refugee camps, what resources do we wish we had so that we can better support ourselves and be more self-reliant? So taking, I know we, currently now live in the U.S. And our circumstances are a bit different, but still being able to place yourself back to when you were living in the refugee camps and thinking about the struggles that you had, and being able to be compassionate, about the struggles that they're continuing to go through, and figuring out, okay, so then how can I be able to support them based on the support that I wish I had when I was in their shoes. And then also, a lot of us have families still within the refugee camps, within Sudan. So being, with the work that we're doing, just because we're here and we're going back, it does not mean that we kind of removed ourselves away from the struggles, because we have first cousins, we have families, we have siblings who are still currently going, we have families who are actually living within the refugee camps. And so being able to understand that and be compassionate with the work that we're doing, we can help move them from dependency to more self-reliant initiatives that can help them move forward. And then but also I think being realistic, because the way the refugee camps are set up, it's set up in a way that requires the refugees to continue to be reliant on these organizations, because these organizations, for them to continue to operate, they need people who need them. Like big organizations like UNICEF, like all of the other HCR. They need them to stay. What is it called? It's difficult, so it's difficult for us to place our place our needs on them so they can address our needs. I think it's important for us to place our needs in our own hands so that we can better help support our people.
Any responses from our panelists online regarding this particular question? I think this might be more even relevant for those that are on the ground. Can you tell us more about how actually, or the questions that we just asked, what does sustainability in refugee communities mean to, what are the unintended consequences? Is that what it was? Or why is sustainability important when discussing humanitarian? I think that's all question. Anybody would like to respond from the online panelists?
Okay, can I say something?
Please, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, my name is Abdul Mohammed. I'm Idena Albert representative in the United States. And as Idena Albert organization, we are serving Sudanese refugees children in East Chad, as I said before. And despite of, we have very limited resources, we are, gathering, students, and we are helping them to continue their education. And when you come to sustainability, we are, planning to create English and French language centers in many different, refugees, especially the previous camps that, or the previous camps that they came in Chad in 2025. And these refugees are a little bit more stable than the others refugees. If we become together as organizations and if we created English centers in those places, it might help them to, depend on themselves to, to teach themselves by themselves, and then they can be able to contribute with, others international communities in many different areas, in whether it's in education or job opportunities and everything. And that is we are, planning to do. And I hope that we can find a partners, and then we can be able to do those, projects that we are talking about, because Arabic language is not helping us. Arabic language is not giving us opportunities to, compete with others, communities. When you graduate from high school, and if you want to contribute or compete with students around the world looking for a scholarship or doing something, it is really, really hard to find opportunity to compete with the students. You need, again, you graduate from high school, again, you need 2 years to learn another language, whether it's French or English, and then you can be able to contribute or to compete with other students. That is really, really difficult. And that is why we are looking for partners. We can create English or French centers in those refugee camps. And I'm sure those refugee centers are more stable. They can be able to, contribute or to pay some fees, and then they can be able to depend themselves. That is what I believe in, those refugee communities. And thank you.
Thank you so much. شكرا. بالاختصار طبعا سألنا سؤال انه كيف اللاجئين يكونوا مثلا مستدعمين ومستقلين في حياتهم اللاجئية، والبانل زي ما ذكروا، خاصة نبدأ بأستاذة إكرام قالت إنه طبعا اللاجئين ديل منهم العلماء الأساس، الدكاترة وفيما فيهم، يعني كلهم ناس يعني متعلمين، ولكن الظرف كمان يلا هنا ما ممكن كلهم زي ما برضو قالوا انه ما ممكن نجوا بس نفكروا انه فكرة هنا جايين بو ندوا للاجئين او مفكرين انه اللاجئين بيحتاجوا كده وكده وكده، بل انما لازم نفكروا بطريقة انه كيف نقدروا نستفيدوا من الامكانيات اللي هم عندهم، التعليم اللي هم عندهم. وبرضه سعدية ذكرت مثلا الاكزامبل هي ذكرت انه قبل كم فترة عملوا حملة بتاع برنامج اللي هو عملوا دعم صحي بالنسبة للمرض الكوليرا، وجابوا المتعلمين في المعسكرات ادوهم ورشات وعلموهم عن طرق مختلفة كيف يكونوا انهم يساعدوا مجتمعاتهم لما يجي في حالات زي دي، ما بس كوليرا حتى لو امراض ثانية. سو ده كده خلاهم ده التعليم ده بقى شنو مستمرة للابد، يعني ده ما حاجة بس الليلة نساعدوكم تخلصوا وخلاص كده، ده تدريب تريننج بطريقة جيدة. حاجات زي ده لازم نستغله فوقهم كهنا منظمات. وزي ما استاذة سحام قالت انه يعني هنا ما ممكن بس نجي كلاجئين نقولوا هنا، حتى لو كان احنا لاجئين من زمان وعارفين انه حاجات هم بيحتاجوهم عندنا ونعرفوا حسب الاكسبيرينس اللي احنا مرينا به، ما ممكن برضه نتوقع انه بس ده الطريقه اللي هم المحتاجين. في الواقع اللي هناك بيختلف من مواقع اللي احنا نتوقعها دائما، عشان كده لازم نفكروا بالطريقه انه كيف نتعاونوا معاهم ونتواصلوا مع بعض ونركزوا في امكانيات اللي هم انهم حتى نقدروا ندعمهم ويكونوا مستقلين ومستدعمين في حياتهم اللاجئيه. وبرضه طرق اللي قدموهم من فتره جزء من المنظمات زي ما اخونا عبد الرسول ذكر بالنسبه للخدمات اللي عملوها ومراكز التعليميه اللي افتتحوها للطلاب وللاطفال الصغار، ده برضه حاجات مستقبليه غالبا انه يكونوا مستقلين. طيب نمشي في السؤال اللي بعده. If you can see from your experience, this question says why sustainability is important when discussing humanitarian aid. Excuse me, wait. Let's go back to the next page actually. I was ahead of myself or behind a little bit. What role should refugees play in designing? We already asked that. And what are some of the barriers that prevent women, and this is an important question, from becoming economically independent? Okay, this is a question to almost all of you here, and more relevant if we could hear from those who are in Chad on the ground will be really helpful. Representatives of Dirjal or Blossoms of Hope, from your experience, what role or what barriers prevent women from becoming economically independent if such resources or opportunities are even available or not available, and what are some of the ways they can actually be independent in that way?
I was trying to use it. It's cute. Okay. Okay. I thought this was a mic. Okay. So the question. Okay. What barriers prevent women from becoming economically independent? So when it comes to conflict, women are the most impacted. Generally, in any conflict, women are the most impacted by any war, by any displacement. Because women, and you guys seen it when all of the clips were going out, you know, how, you know, the struggle of the woman. And then also, oftentimes, women are also used as a, what would you call it? As a, what is the word? Women they target the women specifically, you know, from assault to just everything. And so when we, you know, started Niger Foundation, and that's one of the reasons why too, Niger Foundation is named after my mom. It was to be able to give a nod to all of the incredible women who oftentimes give up their dreams to be able to provide for their kids and for them to be able to have the opportunity to dream. And so when it comes to women within the Okay, so when it comes to women Okay, hello. Is it good? Is it better? Oh, oof, okay. Who's feeling? Oh. Is it good? I need to hold it? الثلاثة okay. You guys مشكورية كثير كمان, you know, نمسك ونتكلم. Okay. Okay. So yeah, what is it called? When it comes to the refugee camps, women do not really, it's difficult for women to do anything because they are oftentimes just expect. So when it comes to Sudan especially, I think about my mother who was married at the age of 13, who did not have the ability to have a future because when it comes to a woman, your future is oftentimes dictated by your parents, and we kind of all know what that is like, being able to be a woman and not be able to, you don't really have a say. And that is something that absolutely sticks, especially when you go to the refugee camps. Now, when you go to the refugee camps, there's a lot more barriers, there's a lot more challenges, there isn't an opportunity to be economically free. And so the women are oftentimes stuck at home. They're the ones who are expected to be in the house, take care of the home, fetch water. But then also, women are oftentimes victims, and that is something that is not talked about enough, is, you know, the number of assault cases that happens when it comes to women. And I'm not sure if you guys are following on social media, but recently there was a news that broke where they found out through research, they found out that a lot of the women. Can you hear? Okay. So within the refugee camps, especially in Chad, a lot of the women have been a victim of assault. They've been sexually assaulted, and a lot of these cases have gone underreported, and it happens based on, you know, like the organizations. The organizations who were responsible were the organizations that, you know, went to provide support. In exchange for the support that they were giving, they were asking for, you know, favors from the women to be able to give them the support. And so a lot of times women are put in a predicament where, okay, if I want to support my family, if I want to give them, you know, these, then I must do this, you know, to be able to provide for my family. And so, and this was just a recent case. Imagine all of the undocumented cases that, you know, go unnoticed. Because when it comes to such cases, women are told not to speak up, because the moment you speak up, something happens to you, and the moment you speak up about it, you are not the victim. You are responsible for what happened to you. You know, you are ashamed because of what happened to you. And we have to move away from that. Why is it that, you know, something happens to me and, you know, I can't, you know, take a moment to be, you know, like I can't victimize myself because it was my fault, you know. Oh, well, you know, why were you outside during the dark? Or why were you, you know, like visiting the house, you know, unattended? Why is it, you know, the woman that, you know, has to bear the responsibility? Or why is the woman shamed for such things? And so, when it comes to women, I think what we need to do is we need to really support women and be able to, when they experience stuff, being able to validate their experiences and you know, understand that the trauma they've gone through. Sudanese women, especially our Masalit community, and especially the women, there is so much trauma, even here within this room. There's so much trauma that we carry that we can't speak about. We can't tell anybody about, you know. We have to hold it in ourselves. And so being able to support our sisters, being able to support them in what they need, and being able to just understand, you know, the struggles that they're going through, and being able to validate that. It stop shaming our women for the things, you know, that they're going through. If they have an experience, don't shame them. trying to understand, you know? And so I think when it comes to supporting women, it also starts here within the community here, and then trickling that to the work that we're doing within the refugee camps.
Thank you, Seham, for that comprehensive overview. Can we hear from our panelists online, please, regarding this question? What barriers prevent women from becoming economically independent? Manahil, especially Blossoms of Hope, we would love to hear from you because you have quite experience in establishing ways that empowered women in your role. If you can highlight anything on that, will be really, really impactful for sure, especially in the midst of all the challenges that you're going through.
أي واحدة عندها شافع ولا شافع you guys have to go after him. قاعدين يطلعوا برا هناك بمشي في محلات don't supposed to go. Thank you.
Yeah, we're also running a little bit late on time. If you guys can keep the answers brief, will be really helpful, please. 1 minute in the max. Thank you. Or 2 minute maximum. You can go to the next question. The same question. Yeah, Dare, please.
Okay, so the question was what prevents or what barriers prevent women from becoming economically independent? For me, I see this as more of like a, how do I call this, a family thing. If we look at our family, just imagine let's say our fathers are the heads of the households, right? And then I imagine our mothers as the neck. If you look at it that way, without the neck, the head does not stand, stand tall. So without our mothers, we cannot really do anything, right? So for me, if our mothers are always, let's say for example, if our mothers have kids, let's say for example, my mom when she was young, obviously she got married all of you, or all of our mothers and aunties here, right? When my father died, she was just by herself, right? She moved to the refugee camps all by herself. Her in-laws were not there to support her. She did not have the education or the skills to economically support herself. So she lacked that. And so when we were growing up, it was always a money issue, right? For me, when I look at it, myself right now, I'm not responsible with money because I did not learn that from my parents. I can say that even staying in America, it's not just those that are in the refugee camps. We do not learn about money when we're growing up as women. We do not learn about skills that help us become businesswomen, right? So if we're not doing this at home, our moms and dads are not teaching this to us. Even if we get married at a grown age, right now I'm 23 years old. If I get married now, I still will have problems with money because I was never taught that skill. We're always teaching our brothers as well as our men about how to make money or how to just create businesses in general, right? We're never teaching our girls what to do. We're always teaching them that when you get married, either we show them that way. We need to teach these things skills that family thing we cannot just expect them to learn these kind of things. If I get married now, right, and if I do not have these skills, you guys never teach us these things, right? And I think that we have to teach them at home. We have to teach them. Our husbands are not going to be there to take care of us all the time. When our husbands or our brothers or our in-laws or anybody is not there, we have to take care of our kids by ourselves. So for me, I would say that
it has to start from the family first. It has to start with our brothers or our fathers teaching us those things. So even when we get married, we're able to do these things on our own, and we're supposed to pass these skills onto our sons, our daughters, our sister-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, all of these things. So I would say teach these things from a young age, so that when they grow up, they do not have these barriers all the time.
Okay.
زي ما اليوم بالسعودية تلنغانو يعني فعلا many women face limited education, limited access to jobs, childcare responsibilities, and cultural barrier is a big factor that she just mentioned, where كما قرأت عن سنة تلاك عمر كطفل سنة تلاك مرو يعني ممكن موهبة تاعي يكون في ساكر كتساريتو تندي ياما يعني جزء من السبورتس تا مدارس تاميني تام تساريتو مرات تندي يا موهبة تاعي يعني ما يعني جزء من الهبطو دعم بابا تامبو يعني كده وجه معين تتيتن تيرو اين علامة يكون يعني أهداف تتاعنا تماما مختلفا، لكن بس إنه يعني كما قرأت كارو يعني ما يخليه إنه بتو سينا لونغو موهبوني يعني شجوني تجيك يعني كوي عمركو كده يعني 10 تعمل تعير كنون توالي يعني دعم ما في دعم كوي ده كان توالي كده بخلو فجيم كوي ده كيجي جنبنا بو ولو سينبنا جيم كوي ده كديشر أطفال سينا بالذات كمين كلين نيتا يعني كمين كنا من رودات لايو لقايد يعني جامع كون خرجين تبو أيوة بتو إيه موهبة مدرسة يعني مدرسة ما بيجي يعني على ضروري يكون إنه كمين بالي ده كده فاتي موهبة يعني شجعة تيجي إنه هون كنا قدر الإمكان يعني دعم كفلك اللي إنه خليه يمشوا وراء أحلامهم وكده إن شاء الله.
Thank you so much to all of you for the wonderful responses and from your experience to your understanding and what you've gone through as well. بالاختصار قبل ما ندي overview وقبل ما نسأل السؤال الأخير، طبعا السؤال هو بيتعلق بالنساء خاصة في اللجوء كويس، وكيف يقدروا يعيشوا حياة مستقلة، وشنو الصعوبات اللي بخلي النساء ما يكونوا عندهم حياة كريمة، أو مثلا ما يقدروا يواجهوا المجتمع بطرق مختلفة، أو ما يعني عندهم حياة مستدامة في اللجوء. وطبعا ذكروا إجابة جميلة جدا وكثيرة، وخاصة لما نجي في الهروبات زي ما أخوتنا سهام ذكرت إنه النساء دائما يعني بيستخدموهم كسلاح، العدو بيستخدموا كسلاح، ودائما هم المتضررين يعني ضرر بشدة. ولذلك في كمان مشاكل كثيرة جدا داخل المجتمعات حسب الواقع بتاع المجتمع، انه النساء لما يمروا بظروف صعبة في الهروبات ما هيقدروا يشاركوا المشاكل اللي مروا في المجتمع، ولا في حتى يعني محلات المسموح لهم عشان يقدروا يشاركوا ويقدروا يكونوا يمروا او يطلعوا من الموقع اللي هم او موقف اللي هم موجودين فيه. خاصة واحد لما يمر بحالات صعبة جدا جدا يكون شايله جواتها يعني حياتها كله، وده بغير يعني مصدر حياتها كله، ده شيء صعب جدا جدا. ولازم في يكون افتتاح في طرق كده مجالات مختلفة ومعينة هم يقدروا يشاركوا ويقدروا يحسنوا الوضع بتاعهم. وكذلك اخواتنا كلهم ذكروا يعني examples اللي هو يقدروا يقدموهم او يقدروا يقدموهم. وممكن بالاختصار ما نكتر اكثر من كده في اسئله الاخيره او السؤال الاخير نسال الباناليست. نتمنى انه اخواننا والاخواتنا الباناليست او الديسكاسنز موجودين اونلاين يقدروا يسمعونا ويقدروا يعملوا ريسبون على الاقل. ده بيكون closing question. This is going to be a closing question. We have a few but we're going to skip for the sake of time. From your experience and understanding, really, what is one sustainable solution that could transform refugee communities over the next 5 years, especially in Chad, elsewhere, Kakuma, for those of you in Kenya, Blossoms of Hope in particular, from your perspective and view, what are one, if you can name, sustainable approach that can help refugees come out of their state or particular state that we're actually talking about? And if you can give us maybe in 2 minutes, that will be really good. Just 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
From my perspective, I would say one of the long-term sustainable solution that we can all focus would be education. لأنه education does transforms life. If we are able to educate one woman اعتبارا يعني علمنا جيل كامل ولا أمة كاملة. فالبو يعني تعليم مهمة جدا جدا. فتعليم ما يعني إنه بس مدرسة كوكو كارو إنه بين الصح والغلط كوكو سنجانة. توالي يعني بخليك مجتمع توم كاكاين كوي تقدر تكون جزء من المجتمع له. فمثال هسا أسر تجيم يعني كوي من دايتا كلنا جينا يعني بلد ملوكارو وفعلا يعني لغة مني وصوبة وجمع سنة. فلغة مثلا يعني من سودان ومن نجم إنجليزو مي فعلا مرات كي توسينا منارا إلهم يعني من إنجليزو ما صدرني أنكو كي على لغة يعني كلمتين إنجليزو يعني كوسا كي غير كان جيم مارا جنو يكون لنا يعني مساعدة نيمو كدو لأنه كرو مدارس سينا أمدا جيم نكون راجين مدرسة ملوماري كانوا مدارس تيتا ما زي مدارس تبالة تمايتانو لأنه كما كوكو مدرسة ملوترندير كانوا لازم برجع بهم ورق تامبو فواجبات تيتا يعني دا يوم بابا يوم كان لغة من عربي ولا إنجليزي ولا جزء من اللغات تتويتام حتى المسارات ذاتك كوسو تورو جنانده كتاب كي غرو كي تيجي يعني عادي أبو تكما يعني مدرسة ملونيا تنارالو ترجان كنو يعني قو ترانتي لو كتي تورو إن بقسمو بقدر بيساعده لكن نيوبا أنا ميرنا فإنبو إن شاء الله يعني زي ما أستاذ عبد الرازق تا أبري فريق كودسي تا بس يعني عمل ورنا عمل جميل جدا جدا وإن شاء الله يعني موضوع تعليم تاجم كويس يتهد ميرنا تعليم جماعة بيفرس سينو كدو ولا إيانو ولا كاين كم بفرس تجينه فكويس يتهد ميرنا يكان تعليم يعني أبو ننجي فعلا مرادا أشكال تامبو مرادا سوبة بلا كده نعبرو إلى مده أكتر يعني كسن الكبار تايدا بيجي نسه لكن برضو يعني خلينا نحاول حبة بيجي من مالي يعني كانوا تونا جيجانا بل إنما من نفسنا أهلكن تونين جيجي وإن شاء الله يعني نركز في موضوع تعليم تاجم زيادة بوكدا بس.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I also believe that education is definitely key because when you are educated, you are able to take that education and turn, create endless possibilities. And so I think education really does also begin with us, being able to educate ourselves first, and then being able to invest in students like Mazen. Students who are so capable of achieving great things but are stuck because they don't have a way to get the education that is needed. So being able to first, educate ourselves and then invest in our community to educate the people who deserve the education, because education should never be a privilege. Education should be the basic right of every human right. So yeah, let's do that. And then also, I think to go beyond just education, once we get the education and we invest in our community to get the education, we must take that education back to our home to be able to rebuild the Sudan that we wish to see. The Sudan, we envision cannot happen by itself, and we cannot wait for others to create the Sudan we wish to see. We must be the change that we want to see, and we must be able to create that change So we must weaponize our, we must seek education and take that education back and create a better future for all of us in our generation.
I totally agree with what my sister Ikram as well as Siam said. To kind of look at it in a different view, for me, I would say we obviously do need education, but when it comes to sending our students as well as our kids to school, we need the funds, right? So for me, I would say we should look into investing into refugee-led businesses. Like as you can see, economically, we are not there right now. And so for me, I would say that we should, give them ideas, or the ideas that they have, we should, help them look into how they could expand, for example. And to look at recent news, for example, gold. Gold leaves the Sudan as well as, neighboring countries, and it goes to other, bigger countries like the UAE, for example, right? So for me, I would say instead of sending all those resources that way, I think we should take control of that. I know it's a little bit radical, but I think we should take control of that, and then we should, give the gold out or any other resources for a higher price so that we could get the money for ourselves and then invest in education, for example. And so we could move forward in a more, easier way instead of, again, depending on others to help push us forward. With that, I would like to end, and I would like to give the mic back to President Abdurazik from Kudusi so he could conclude.
Thank you so much, Sada Sadia, and everyone for the wonderful responses. I would really, really love to, because some of you have left some minutes and seconds from your responses. I would love to hear from our online panelists, please. If you could think of one sustainable action that could bring about change to refugees from your observation in your area in the next 5 years, what would it be? Would you please? Saza Kaltuma from Blossoms of Hope. In Kenya, in Kakuma refugee camp.
Yes, so from Culture, Blossoms of Hope initiative that is that's currently operating in Kakuma. So one sustainable strategy that we believe at Blossoms is economic empowerment that is meant to achieve financial sustainability, because without a community having the financial sustainability, other social aspects will not be viable. So we believe in financial sustainability, and one of the ways of doing that is diversifying our funding sources. For example, for the organizations, we can look into multiple ways of getting grants, donations, or government fundings. But then we also believe in business, because it is something that is very independent and very achievable. So economic empowerment is our first priority in order to achieve a sustainable environment where there is development.
Thank you so much, Sada Kaltuma. Shukran.
Okay, I have something.
Please, 2 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Just even I'm gonna say just about education. Yeah, education, especially for refugees communities whom are planning to study universities outside of the countries, like the students that whom are planning to or hoping to plan in international universities, and we can, we should stand all of us to help those students as
Najwa Foundation is trying to do. If we are helping those students and helping them to universities to study outside of the countries, we're gonna create very strong communities, and then in the future we can be able to have a power about education. If you have a power in education, and everything is going to be easier for us to do in our future. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for our panelists. Thank you for our panelists, especially from far. This is very late in the night for those of you in Africa, but you have managed to join us in this discussion, and we really appreciate that. Despite that some technical difficulties, we had some challenges. But again, the last question, I would like to highlight in Arabic عشان ما نظلم أي زول. السؤال كان إنه إذا فكرت أي شيء يخلي اللاجئين يكونوا مستدعمين في حياتهم مستقلة أو يكونوا مستقلين، شنو هو؟ أكثرهم طبعا قالوا التعليم، لأنه التعليم هو بيكون زي ما قال مصدر الحياة ومصدر القوة، وكل الصعوبات اللي بواجهنا ممكن هنقدروا يعني يتغطوا عليهم إذا قدرنا ركزنا في التعليم. So thank you so much again for all of you for really sitting down in this lengthy conversation with all the difficulties that we went through. You were there with us, and honestly this is really important, and we have to talk about why this panel, right? Because we haven't talked about it. Why do we have to have this panel and discussion, bringing our non-profit experts who have been working on the field and providing services, and those even that are abroad? And the objective is not just about, understand what's happening and then leave it alone. I think our goal with this group and others is to really have some sort of a foundational step to collaborate in more stronger way in terms of contributing. زي ما قال يد ليد بس بجد بيت صح؟ So we would love to establish some sort of structure where we can work together and provide in any areas that may be more sustainable, more critical to helping our refugees back home, in collaboration with them as well, to be able to be more, again, have a lively, sustainable livelihood. This is really the objective of this panel, and I'm really, really grateful that especially our sister from Dar-8, Sadia, for the work you put into bringing this, because Dar-8 kind of took this initiative in its whole sense, as a holistically, to make a sustainable approach to refugees, because we cannot really always depend on the organizations that are bringing aid, and you all know that is declining, and rapidly so. And نقول لكم إنه في هدف معين بالنسبة للنقاش بتاع اليوم، لأنه زي ما ذكرت إنه دايرين نحاول نتعاونوا مع بعض بالمنظمات الخيرية، خاصة من إخواتنا القائمين بهم والمجهود الكبير مقدمين به، ونركز في مجال استدامة للاجئين، ويكونوا مستغلين من الإغاثات الجاية دائما، لأنه الإغاثات دي زي ما شايفين ماشي تنتهي دائما وبطريقة أشد أكثر من ما إحنا نتخيل فوقه، والمعاناة ماشي يزيد. ان شاء الله لو حاجه بسيطه مثلا في سنه او في خلال 6 شهور بتعاون نقدروا نركز في مجال معين يخلي انه اللاجئين يكونوا مستدعمين. يعني مثلا في مجال ورشات تعليم او افتتاح مكان شركه او مركز للتعليم او مركز يعني افتتاح مجالات يخلي اللاجئين يكونوا يعيشوا حياه مستقله ويتعلموا من الفرص الموجوده، او يكون مثلا حفر ابيار او افتتاح مجالات مياه، مثلا ناس داير تزرع ما بس تزرع بس في زمن الخريف، يكون في مياه موفره، يعني حاجه يخلينا هنا نشوف انه المناسب شنو لهم هم بحسب نظريتهم. وده ان شاء الله يكون من هنا وقدام تعامل مستمر بكل المنظمات، بكون دعوه خالصة لكل المنظمات الخيرية، ومع تعاون مع منظمة كودوسي إن شاء الله نقدر نحاول نقدم مجهود، لأنه شبابنا وشاباتنا الموجودين في وور زون أو في جراوند زيرو في المعسكرات اللاجئين الموجودين هنا شغالين شغل زيادة من اللازم. يعني ممكن إذا كان خلينا أي من المنظمات يتكلم وما يقدر يخلص المجهود اللي هم بيقدموه الأفراد اللي ذكرناهم، قلنا المعلمين، الدكاترة والأساتذة يعني فولunteers الشغالين يساعدوا اهلهم، لانه كل المجتمعات اتشردت خاصه من انتشار، يعني المجتمع كلها اتدهورت، كلها مشت اللجوء. عندنا ناس معلمين في مجال زي ده نقدر يعني نستفيد منهم بتعاملهم ان شاء الله. وده هدف بتاع البانل بتاع اليوم ده، ما حاجه صغير بس دار نتناقش هنا وانتم خلاص شنو تمشوا خلاص، يعني اي زول ماشي على بيته، لا، بكون نقاش وترابط وتواصل مستمر باذن الله تعالى. وشكرا لكم انه قعدتوا واستمعتوا، وان شاء الله ربنا يقوينا كلنا ونحاول ندعم مع بعض ونساعدوا لغايه ما شنو نطلعوا مجتمعاتنا حتى بخطوه بسيطه من بر الامان ان شاء الله. وجزاكم الله الف خير، شكرا لكم. اوه اوكي، في كلمه ممكن ندو في زول رافع يده في البانل، احنا طبعا البانل ورانا ما شايفينه. شكرا للتنبيه. استاذ صدام حسن، تفضل. استاذ صدام انت في الميوت، ممكن دقيقتين فرصه لك، تفضل رافع يدك شايفينك.
Thank you so much for sitting and listening to our discussion here. We really appreciate it. Tying back to what Ustaz Abdul Razif said about taqatuf, زي ما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام ولا تعاونوا بالبر والتقوى وتعاونوا بالبر والتقوى ولا تعاونوا كالإثم والعدوان. فتخاطب مجتمع منهم يعني مهمة جدا جدا، وإن شاء الله يعني أبري أمين جزء من كاجم بكلايتا ولا جمع بكلايتا، يعني أول مرة بكلا كنت، لكن إن شاء الله في أيام القادمة السنين القادمة يعني تخاطبكم هنا غني إتنين كمديرين مجتمع منهم أجمعنا كتوتي. وبرضه في موضوع التعليم يعني في مثال بقول إن اليتيم يتيم ليس مات والده، إن اليتيم يتيم العلم والأدب. فكان تعلم كو تنادى تعلم كو يعني نت يتيم تاني اعتبارا ما يتيم، لأنه علم تالي غني أي وش الأرض كنت كاني ساتني كانوا حياته ما كانوا جنتاتي، لكن تي يتيم تاني علم كتني غني توم تكاني يعني ما بقدر بيش. فإيشتنت لكن ممكن يعيش بأعمال الشاقة، يعني ما زي كاني يتيم لو كدو علم كنا نيجي بس أنت سوتيني دي. فإلبو آخر كلمتين الرين كذا إنه تعليم نيبو مهم، وإن شاء الله يتخاطبكم بجين مجتمع منيجو يعني علم برا فمن تتودي. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
تنبيه خفيفة كده لأهلنا اللي عندهم أولاد صغار، ممكن حاولوا ينتبهوا لأنه في أطفال جارين وبدخلوا في أماكن ممنوعة لنا نحن في هذا المكان. حاولوا كده شوفوا، راقبوا أولادكم، جيبوهم جنبكم من فضلكم. شكرا لكم.
الشكر كل الشكر لمنظمتنا الخيرية غير الربحية ابتداء من أتيه دروتي دار ايد بلسم. شكرا لكم كثير، وإن شاء الله هنا ندعمكم دعم حقيقي نمشي لقدام ونقدر نساعد أهلنا هناك. وشكرا جزيلا للمناقشة النايرة، ونتمنى لكم كل التوفيق إن شاء الله. أما الآن فطور ولا ما أعرف أقول غدا نمشي نصلي ونتغدى ونجي راجعين إن شاء الله. شكرا جزيلا. وساعة يا جماعة، اديناكم ساعة.
Kudusi, Baby girl, you you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Janana Jamil, Janana Janana. Let me take you Janana Jua. Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana. Janana beautiful. Janana beautiful. Let me take you Janana baby. Janana Jua. If you wanna feel love, feel the love. Let me take you Janana. Baby girl, Janana. Let me take you Janana. Janana beautiful. Janana beautiful. Let me take you Janana baby. Janana Jua.
One Gucci once again. Hey, let me take you to Nana. One Gucci made it.
Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Janana Jamil, Janana Janana. Let me take you Janana Jua. Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana. Janana Nasunan. Fihum mahabba wareda kaman. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Janana Hilwa, Janana Samha. Janana Khatra, Janana Jamil. Janana Janalana. Let me take you Janana Jua. Janana Fogu Jubal. Fogu Kaja. Fogu Ana Kaman. Janana Fogu Jubal. Fogu Kaja. Fogu Ana Kaman. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Janana Jamil, Janana Janalana. Let me take you Janana Jua. Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana. If you wanna feel free, feel fresh. Let me take you Janana. If you wanna feel love, feel beloved. Let me take you Janana. Baby girl, Janana. Let me take you Janana. When my Janana makanu, summa shopping mambana kanu, job kono minyandara kanu, lekanu, gimme ania, elegiti adiminia, adiminia, namenyele adiminia, adiminia, kodeli adiminia, adiminia, meniti adiminia, adiminia, toplacha adiminia, adiminia, nesotoili adiminia, adiminia. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana Jua. Baby girl, Janana Jua. Janana Jamil, Janana Janalana. Let me take you Janana Jua. Janana Jua. Let me take you Janana. Janana beautiful. Janana beautiful. Let me take you Janana baby. Janana Jua. If you wanna feel love, feel the love. Let me take you Janana. Manyinanga saradaminde. Kijinanga saradaminde. Ujinanga saradaminde. Kosinanga saradaminde. Kajinanga, ujinanga. Manyinanga, kosinanga saradaminde. Miwi saradaminde. Namiyale, namiyale. Manyimala kalitivo nunyandale. Yeah, namiyale, namiyale. Manyimala banyimala kanangne. Yeah, namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Oh, namiyale, namiyale. Mangekilo namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Manyimala mang malaika namine. Mangekilo malaika namine. Manyimangi malaika namine. Namiyale, mangi namiyale. Mangekilo namiyale. Manyimala mangdungu masarti namine. Bro, dungu masarti namine. Yeah. Bro, mundi malak mola dunjurasu. Menta banyanang banyana. Wala malaikum bagisuru. Kurti mindian minta bagiji. Bro, 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 bro de. Mundi malak mola dunjurasu. Menta banyanang banyana. Namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Mangigilo, namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Mangigilo, namiyale. Manyimalakyan dungo masarte nang naye. Bro, dungo masarte nang naye. Yeah. Namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Mangekilo namiyale, namiyale, namiyale. Manyimalak mang malaika namine. Mangekilo malaika namine. Manyimangi malaika namine. Namiyale, mangi namiyale. Mangekilo namiyale. Manyimalak mang dungo masarte nang naye. Bro, dungo masarte nang naye. Hello, Allah, também. Furu, também, yeah. Hello, Allah, também, man. Furu, também, man. Na minha back, man. Via kukan kovele. Kalaji an kovele. Na minha la kovele. Na minha la kovele. Grow, baby. Hello, Allah, também, man. Furu, também, man. Na minha back, man. Via kukan kovele. Kalaji an kovele. Na minha la kovele. Na minha la kovele. Grow, baby. Ama ya tube go por banonote. Ama tamu kayen por banimente. Ama kimin kayen por bananate. Ama suro koi por banudante. Bangonyam givele. Bangonyam givele. Bangura mangivele. Nasato mangivele. Belle, belle, belle. Mang. Belle, 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 belle. La la tawek mang. Furu tawek mang. Na minha back mang. Via kukan kovele. Kalaji an kovele. Na minha la kovele. Na minha la kovele. Grow, baby. la kevele, na minya la kovele, kiro baby.
Like I got the recipe.
It's Jamila Javalik, Musumin Al Gamar, Min Nujum. Fil Banat, it's my number one. Fil Jamal, into my number one. It's Jamila Jamalik, Musumin Al Gamar, Min Nujum, shining. أنا من ما شفتك حسيت بإنه خلقوك لي خلقوني لكي تقلي أنا أقلكي درب الريت نمشي معاكي خطوة نمشي معاكي أنا الدنيا لفيت هتا كان البنات كان الجمال أنا شفتها انت جميلة جمالك نص من القمر من النجوم في البنات انت ما نمبر وان في الجمال انت ما نمبر وان انت اول لي واخر لي خيرك انا ما داير انا ما داير انا ما داير انت جميلة جمالك نص من القمر من النجوم في البنات انت ما نمبر وان في الجمال انت ما نمبر وان انت جميلة جمالك نص من القمر من النجوم شاينين انا الدنيا لفيت هتا كان البنات كان الجمال انا شفتها ما في بيت اسويكي بو ما في جمال اسويكي بو ما في حنان اسويكي بو Girl, you are so beautiful. I wish I can see you night and day. أنا لو داير منك كتير تكوني معاي أدومك علي. انت لو دايرة من النجوم بجيبوا لكي كل النجوم بجيبوا لكي لو النجوم أنا بجيبوا لكي لو القمر أنا بجيبوا لكي لو العنان أنا بديكي قلبي تتحنى بو انت جميلة جمالك نص من القمر من النجوم في البنات انت ما نمبر وان في الجمال انت ما نمبر وان انت جميلة جمالك نص من القمر من النجوم شاينين انت نورك من الشمس برد نصك من النجوم انت احلى من القمر في الحنان انت نمبر وان انت نورك من الشمس برد نصك من النجوم انت احلى من القمر في البنات انت نمبر وان في الجمال انت نمبر وان في البنات انت نمبر وان نمبر وان نمبر وان في الجمال انت نمبر وان في البنات انت نمبر وان في الجمال انت نمبر وان نمبر وان نمبر وان انت نمبر وان
Yeah. This is what good, yeah, my man. MS Unit Production. I'm on red, yeah. OGEbeats.com. That's right. On the track. Right coming enemy. Right coming enemy. Masada right coming enemy. Right coming akenu. Sudan ko di mendemi binti mi. Alala nyungu de lo si de lo bing mena. Kia de lo si de lo koi mena. Masara irakenu. Isi di manami. Winkandi mi rakenu. Ainge mala kunyame. Winkandi mi rakenu. Wasi mala kunyame. Winkandi mi rakenu. Sila mala kunyame. Raiko de menendemi. Raiko menakenu. Sudan body shot body mendemi binti mi. Dama siram si siyasa nda yukuri mening de nyanu iinde miduka tingu de rechanu mening mege kurinya nenda muka darkwana nenda muka khiro nenda muka raikwana nenda muka iraka nu busy kire busy ngaru kege waje kikinbo mamanbo dasibo babas bakalanbo hatta sawi yakoi dumawe re ilim kude busy kire busy ngaru kege WhatsApp mo super nyarem si Facebook mo super nyarem yung ilim kude busy kire busy ngaru kege when go ya busy re busy ngaru deke America na recommend enemy Faransa tango recommend enemy Canada ni die but recommend enemy Duma ni die but recommend enemy recommend akenu Sudan ko demand me binti mi siyasa Iraq nu mi mene ilimi Iraq nu mi mene Girish Iraq nu mi mene Sultan Iraq nu sultan ko tongo kude mene ilim kude recommend enemy recommend akenu Sudan but t-shirt but demand me binti mi Kalimba belimba kararok meni Desimba baba simba kararok meni Tuskilizane telewane Tushumiane tupendane Tuwa pamoja tu Tuwa pamoja wote Tuwa pamoja tu Kai nimnyungu inu ige Kai nimnyungu inu ime Kai nimnyungu inu wame Midiloka ni soro Midiloka ni lamo Middle recommend enemy, recommend akenu. Sudan ko demand me binti mi. Recommend enemy. Masara recommend enemy, recommend akenu. Sudan but you shall my demand me binti mi. When go je busy rani, when go je reikona, when go je Sudan ko demand me binti ngami. Masara recommend so lenin kwamare kudene dai rai kwamare diluni dai rai kwamare rai komena kenu Sudan batishan ma dimende mi binti mi yeah Yeah. This is what good ya my man MS Unit Production. I'm on red, yeah. OGEbeats.com. That's right. On the track. Right coming enemy. Right coming enemy. Masara right coming enemy. Right coming akenu. Sudan ko demand me binti mi. Alela nyungu de lo si de lo big mena Kia de lo si de lo koi mena Masara irakanu Bisi di mana mi Unkandi mi irakanu Ainge mala kunyame Unkandi mi irakanu Wasi mala kunyame Unkandi mi irakanu Sila mala kunyame Raiko de menende mi Raiko menakanu Sudan bati shot body mende mi binti mi Dama siram siyasa na yukurin mening di nyanu iinde Miduka jingu de rechanu mening mege Kurinya na muka Darkwana na